Good afternoon, everybody. I'm sorry I was a little late there. I was actually on the phone with my Sweetwater rep, who is the devil, in the best way possible. And it's kind of funny because it's so appropriate for one thing I wanted to talk about today, which is living in gear excess. I was actually calling to thank him because, unbeknownst to me, I'd called about the Jazzmaster that I wasn't really happy with the fact that the rhythm circuit was not functioning, and I didn't feel the frets were at a quality standard, level-wise, finish-wise, that warranted a price for that sort of guitar. And what ended up happening, see, I'll spoil it for you guys, but on Monday, I got a call from their tech support, and they're like, well, why don't we just do this? We'll send you another one. How do you want it set up? So they're going to just straight up have one of their ace setup guys dial this in exactly the way I asked for it. I was really specific, actually. And they're like, no, that's good. That's good. Like, the more specific, the better. And, so I'll have a different one of the American Vintage 2. And the way they handled it without me asking for anything was great and incredible. So I wanted to reach out to my rep today and say thank you for that, which led to a different conversation. And guy's just making me offers. I don't know. It's crazy. Anyways, good morning, Sean. That's why we're late today. Hey, Rex and Scotty and Robert. How you doing? Robert, the guitar I was just talking about was a Gibson. The guitar I was just pitched was a Gibson. Not a Fender. But man, oh man, what a wild, wild, wild world. You got to go say hi to Mom real quick. Oh, Rex. I actually wanted to tell you something here. And you know what? Maybe I'll load this up on the browser so I could explain some of this stuff to you guys. Where could I go that's going to have all this? Because Rex has been asking me about some of the Deviser guitars. All right? Now, the problem is you have to know what you're looking at, because not all these are made in Japan at all. So let's go to the browser. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to show you. We're going to address that real quick because it's easier for me to do this and also educate other people when it comes to this stuff. That way you're not getting taken as far as like thinking you might be potentially buying a Japanese guitar when it's not made in Japan. Okay, so right now we're going to start with Bacchus. He's been really, really digging these guitars. All right. Universe Series. Let's go to your product list here. All right, some of these are really nice guitars. And if they look somewhat familiar to some of you guys, to other brands, I'm going to let you try and put together the pieces as to why that is. These are Indonesian instruments. Okay? They're very inexpensive. This line of guitars does not get sent back to Japan to have final assembly checked, to have the frets done, to have the nut cut, or anything like that. These are they're very similar to all the other off-the-rack Indonesian-made guitars. And if you look at the price here, it makes sense why. 32,000 yen. All right? We seeing this? That's why. So those... Oh, thank you for being an ad blocker. I would like it if you would have blocked yourself there. So that's the one series. So sometimes you might be surprised. That's the global series. We go back to Bacchus. If it will let me. I'll click up here. All right. We already over the one day guitar show. Global. So the Universe is the lowest tier. The global series. This is another one he sent me. All right. It's the same kind of deal going on, but with better parts. So you might get updated vibrato systems, tremolos, maybe stainless steel frets. I'm not sure on some of these. And just in general, they're like a tier up. You know what I mean? From the base models, but they're still Indonesian made. All right. Next, up in the line of the tier list, are these. These are the Japan tune-up series. I had one of these in the 77 version. Now, what makes these so good out of the box is the fact that these are also not made in Japan. However, they do all of the really important stuff for playability in Japan before they get sold. So you're getting guitars that are going to have awesome fretwork, a perfectly cut nut. They're going to be set up great. The intonation's going to be spot on, and they're absolutely killer. They're absolutely killer guitars. So those, the Japan tune-up series right now for Bacchus, I believe, is only with bass guitars. But there are other ones, there are other brands, like if I click on 77 real quick, we scroll down here, they don't make a domestic ex rubato anymore. So these are going to be J-tunes. Oh, no, that's a limited edition right there. That's cool. But anyway, so we'll just click on one of these. So this is 180,000 yen. This is not a Japanese-made instrument, but it's finished in Japan. You're still getting Kluson. You're still getting a bone nut. You're still getting a hard shell case and a great playing instrument. I had one of these. I had one in the blue. It's fantastic, but it's not a Japanese-made guitar. They're going to have the SS level at the top. Yep, serial on the top. So if you're shopping for any of these guitars, really, if you're ever confused, you can always send me an email. But for new pricing, typically once you're around this area, the 180 area or so, give or take, the odds are from Deviser, if it's 77 or a Momose. Actually, no, there are no import-made Momoses. If it's a 77, it's probably imported. And Bacchus, you will know it's a Bacchus. It will say made in Japan on the actual neck itself. So just some food for thought. Not to say any of those are bad guitars, but to think that they're all Japanese is kind of the thing I'm trying to get you to avoid. And the reason for that is because, you know, if you think you're getting a Japanese guitar, you get it, and you're like, this is pretty good, but maybe it doesn't live up to the hype, and maybe some of it was exaggerated. That's why you didn't actually get a Japanese guitar. And it's one thing that I don't really love that Deviser has begun doing. Not that this is new. They had a line before the Japan tune-up series called the JE series. Those were made in the Philippines, and the quality control was not so great on those. You get those very cheap used. It makes sense from a business-wise. If you don't want to dilute your core product, you can make more money doing this kind of stuff. And I do appreciate that they're not doing this with Momose. It's only 77 and Bacchus. However, you know, you got to pay the bills somehow, and I'd rather that they do that than make some other compromising decisions on their really ace stuff. So just some food for thought. Anyways, sorry you're late. You got off the shortest, most terrifying staff call. You think you still have a job? I hope you still have a job. Jesus, God. You never want to hear anything about that. Let's see. Yeah, man. What a day. What a day so far. There's a 77 for $1,400 on Reverb. I'm on the fence about it because I might not vibe with it. The resale value sucks, but has everything I want in the car. Still on the fence with it. Which model is it? Is it an Albatross or an Ex Rubato? Should we go to Reverb and find it? But, I mean, depending on what it is, the reason, and this was the funny thing, because when I first made the I'm going to do this leap and bought a Japanese one, the first one I bought was the Jaguar, the MJG, that I like sight unseen entirely. Actually, no, that was the second one. I bought the Albatross before that. But I bought they're two different neck shapes. I was terrified of that guitar because I was just like, if this guitar sucks or I don't like it, I'm stuck with it. It was the best risk I ever made. The same thing with the one that's in the display case, the Albatross. The necks will sell you by themselves. I guarantee it. So let's look and see what they have here. for used stuff. This is so funny and so fitting because of the title of the stream today. But I'm guessing you're looking at this one. If I had to guess. Oh no, not this one. Sorry, this one. If I had to guess. It's a nice albatross. And I don't believe there's any other ones in the United States. No, that's it. That's it. So you're looking at this one. Yeah, I mean, you got to really be familiar with the trapeze tailpiece, my friend. I don't care who makes these guitars that have trapeze tailpieces on them. They feel different. If you love that and you know you love that, that's great. And if this is the exact guitar, it's Butte and it's gonna play great. But indeed, it's worth noting here the trapeze tailpiece. If you've never played one before, that would be my cause for hesitancy, not the guitar itself. I hope that was the guitar you're looking at, because that was the only one that was $1,400. Oh, the pink albatross. I have one of those. That's one of the best. That was the best guitar I got last year, out of all of them. That guitar made the PRS feel like a junk toy. I'm serious. It wasn't even close. I'll never sell that guitar. I will never sell that guitar. And you're looking at the pink one. You said $1,400. This is $1,500. Get your story straight. So look at this. Comes in a nice case. This one, unless you swap the pickups in it, this has the Mojo Tone Classic 59 clone rather. I would assume. But that's not the original case. The original case is very nice. It's very light. The only things I would say is a potential con with this guitar, you don't have the best upper fret access. So it's like ES339 in that sense. But it's light as a feather. I love it. And that's a real one. Ha! Who's that guy? Oh, that's weird. That's so weird. That's so weird. Oh, man. Robert. Robert's Gear Garage using me to sell his guitar. You know what? I should get a commission. Let me tell you something here. We're in a mini rant. If I can't play somebody else's music on YouTube without paying them, you can't sell your guitar on Reverb and use my hard work demo to sell it. That's ridiculous. I should get a cut. I'm selling that thing for you. Jesus. That's really funny, though. What are the odds of that? Oh, man. Jim, I got a $100 gift card or gift certificate to Sweetwater. What should you get? The best thing you could get for $100, strings. That's the most fail-proof thing in the entire world, man. You ever have a little bit of money? Because here's the thing. When you get gift cards, you might think to yourself, I got $100 in a gift card. That could be like $100 off something else I want, right? Right? I can make it work. I could do this. I could do that. And the next thing you know, you're taking $100 off of a $3,000 guitar. Buy strings. Strings, picks, or you know what's another cool thing, depending on how much work you do, Sean, that's worthwhile, that'll fall under that budget? Nut files. Not many people will mention those or think of those, but if you're somebody who does like to tinker with instruments and you want to keep your guitars in really good shape and be able to set them up perfectly, get a set of nut files for the gauge of string that you like. Nice to have. You could also use those nut files to start making money for yourself doing work for other people. There you go. Strings and an amp stand. There you go. Cool. Meanwhile, the gear excess thing. So, option paralysis. I was talking to Ian about an hour before this. I have been, the Mustang demo I did, where I compared the vintage Mustang with the Vintera, right? I came up with this amazing, to me, kind of like funk riff. Because normally when I write funk stuff, it's not so much in riff form. It's more just kind of like I hit a groove and it would totally just sit in the background. It's not like a lead part at all. It's not something that could be like the focal point. And I wrote something I really like it. I do. And I've been trying to math out, just arrange it. I've been playing with it on different guitars, and really, I love the way it sounded on the Mustang. I've been playing it on a Strat in the 4th position, and I'm like, which one's better? Oh, I'm like, like the Strat actually, I think it works a little bit better than the Mustang. It's just like, why don't we try it on a Jazzmaster too? Or, you know what, why don't I do something really crazy? I'll go out of phase on a different instrument, and then before I know it, I've taken myself from initially being with the sound I liked with the Mustang, where I wrote the damn riff, and somehow complicate. You're killing me. Hold on a second. I don't even know who said that. I just got to mute the thing. And then from working on an idea to working out which guitar to use for the idea. And I think that's a problem. I really do. Because I don't have all the time in the world. And when you do have time to sit and write or to, just try and figure stuff out, I feel like the less time that you can spend dancing between what drive to use, which guitar to use, and all of that stuff, and the faster that you can just establish that, be like, all right, this sounds good, this kind of setup, this guitar works, and I'm just going to work on the song. And this didn't always used to be a problem for me because I didn't have so many damn great things to pick from. This is real first world problems, but I really think it's like sometimes you're better off having a little less. In a studio environment, it's one thing, but like, I don't know, at home and really working on ideas, and even if you're just even if you're trying to record an album on your own and do the guitar parts at your home, like you could realistically do that without much investment as far as pro audio stuff. But I don't know. It really rubbed me the wrong way. And then I wasted about 40 minutes of my free time between the two guitars when I could have spent that entire 40 minutes just working on the riff to begin with. And don't even get me started on overdrives. We have a fun video to do. I have four overdrives now. Do you know how long we went with just using the Benson on this channel? Just the Benson preamp. And then we switched, every once in a while, I think you would have heard it. I was using the Purple Plexi, which is a love pedal. And then in a span of a week and a half, I got the Brown Amplification Protein, which is killer. And then the Lawler drive. So I'm sitting here with all these drives. We're going to have a lot of fun. So what I'm going to do for a video, first of all, we're going to have it like, I have these, I got these cool things I got to show you. So I bought these wireless lapels. Why these are so cool is I can double tap it and it mutes it. So if I have a mic set up on an amp and I'm streaming, I can do all my talking. If I want to play something, boom, boom, mute, and there's going to be no problems. It's going to sound great. So I'm going to be able to do more kind of like live setting back and forths and screw arounds as far as that kind of stuff goes with demo stuff. And I want to sit with the with all of the drive pedals, and we'll do fun stuff with that. But an idea I have for a video is I have the HX Stomp. I'm going to dial in 4 different drives, trying to get sounds that are similar to each of those pedals. And I'm going to see if any of you get any of them right. We're going to see. And that should be a fun thought experiment. I'm wearing this as if it's doing anything. It's just flashing blue. It's not connected to anything. I have the Shure in front of me. But I'll tell you, it's interesting. Let me catch up. You guys are talking about something. Spark Mini is just over $100. It'd be fun for me and the kids. I have no experience with the Spark products. And I'm going to tell you the honest to God answer why that is. It might be great. It might be good. It might be garbage. I don't know. The reason I couldn't do it, because I'll never forget when they released, and every video on my feed from every shill and lackey that would take the paycheck in Big Guitar YouTube took it. And I couldn't get away from the damn thing. And all these guys with like $80,000 worth of gear in their room are looking you in the face, telling you that this is the greatest thing ever. I've never forgotten that. And that has always rubbed me the wrong way. I'm just being as honest as I can be. I have no personal experience with it. It might be great, but the amount of shilling for that specific thing when it first launched, it was so far over the top that it ruined it for me. It did. I don't like when marketing's that aggressive. Do any of you guys remember that? That was wild. That was wild. And granted, good for those guys for making their money, right? But it didn't work on me. It certainly went the opposite direction. Okay, you need to try the Go, but I'm happy with the Mini for the office. Yeah, I mean, and the other, I'll tell you the other reason why. I've never had one of those. I still have my Mustang Micro, which is a 5-inch speaker, battery-powered amp with a lunchbox handle on it. And that thing's got to be 12 years old and still works. Matter of fact, it's at least that old. Because you know how you get those memory things? Of like, this happened to you 10 years ago today. I got really sad the other day, and I was showing my daughter this. And it was from, I did a promo shoot with a band in California. And for the shoot, we needed to, I had the Baja Telecaster. This is really funny. And I believe I still have all the clothes that I wore to this day. I don't think I threw them out. But we're on the beach in San Diego. We were in OB. We did half of the shoot at Sunset Cliffs and the other shoot like right on the beach in like the main area of OB near kind of like Pizza Port. And, and I have my telly. I'm sitting on a sand dune. My buddy's singing next to me. And you could just see the telly was actually plugged in because I didn't want to have a shoot where it looks like we're playing, and the guitar wasn't plugged into anything. So we were actually playing, and then miming along to it. And that amp has survived that. That amp survived the beach, cross country trips. That's why I don't have a Spark. I tangented, but that's what I do. Hey Steve, how you doing? That guy, see, this is my thing. I'm not gonna slam anybody. I'll read your comments. I'm just gonna I'll read them without the names. That guy and his Spark Mini ads were especially prevalent and obnoxious. Didn't he invent the Home Depot theme song? Isn't he rich from that? It's an inside joke, I think, unless that actually did happen, in which case a lot of things would make a lot of sense. Spark 40 and the rechargeable battery from Amazon. Dude, let me tell you also what else is really disappointing. Not only did everybody get sick, I have the Bose that arrived last Friday. I've been wanting to film with it because, it was provided to me. It's been pouring rain every day. Yesterday, there was not 5 minutes where it wasn't raining. And how am I supposed to film outdoors? And I was going to have to do it by myself. I was going to have to tripod it. How am I going to film that outdoors when it's raining? I'm not. So I got to wait for things to clean up before I can do that. Definitely would be fun for kids. Perfect for couch jams if you need something fun that size. Do you know what we use in the living room? For our, it doubles as our record player and as like a mini speaker for anything else that we'd want to do. And you could plug a guitar into it and play along. Is a Fender Greta amplifier. It looks awesome. It's got this vintage thing going on to it. It actually has a line out, so you could use it as a power amp and plug it into either another amp or a cabinet. Get some gnarly tones. You know what? That would be a fun. That'd be a fun video, man. That'd be a fun video because those things are cheap. And I really like it. It's got tubes. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles of Bluetooth and all that stuff. And I get it. Everybody wants to be able to make any given sound replica, and modeling is cool. But there's just something about like having a really limited sound, but it sounds pretty good from the Greta. And it can work as a record player. That's what we use in the main room. What we got here? Do you still have your core McCarty? You got a sweet deal on a used one, and you're loving it even more than the heavy as hell Les Paul Classic. Well, yeah, you're gonna. That is one of the biggest, the two big selling points about a McCarty versus the Les Paul. First selling point you mentioned, the weight. The McCarty standing up, you could play that thing for days, unless you get really unlucky. You'd have to get really unlucky though. I don't think I've seen many over 8 pounds ever. Most of them are much lighter than that. The other thing is fret access. It's great. I no longer have mine, but out of all the PRS designs, the original McCarty, not the 594 that's trying to be a Gibson. The designs I really like from Paul Reed Smith are the Paul Reed Smith designs. My two favorites are the regular McCarty and the Custom 24, because it's like that's his thing. Like that's like, you know what I mean? Whereas guitars that may be great, but definitely are trying much harder to be other guitars or appeal to people who play other guitars, like the Silver Sky and the 594 range as a whole, I feel like they kind of hit this weird in-between area. Like if I want a PRX, like I'd rather buy one that's just like a straight up PRS. And the McCarty's one of my favorites. That's a good call, man. Hope you love it. Let me be clear, I don't have a problem with that guy in general, just those Spark Mini ads. Well, he wasn't even the one I was thinking about. I was thinking of the guy with the biggest smile I've ever seen that does guitar YouTube. In every in every thumbnail, it's just the smile. God bless him. He's got beautiful, beautiful teeth. They're huge white teeth. The smile takes up half the thing though. Like I can't unsee it. And yeah, just everybody with those freaking Spark ads. I'll never forget being just bombarded. And as somebody who plays gear, you know, it's one thing to go in it with certain expectations. Like, this is a really cool thing. Like, the usages that you guys are talking about, if they were pitched in this manner, it's one thing. It's like, yeah, this is awesome to take around with the kids. This is awesome. We're going to go camping. We're going to go to the beach. We're going to go outside. We could use this as a little PA thing to play Spotify or from iTunes, whatever the hell you want to do, right? Cool, great. And it sounds pretty decent. But when the people who are being paid to sell these are talking like, I'm going to sell all my tube amps. You know what? That Tone King, that's garbage. I got a $100 Spark amp. That's all I'll ever need. And it's all you'll ever need too. Don't forget to use the affiliate link down below, though. Help your buddy out. It's not like I didn't already make a briefcase full of money on this. And I get the hustle. I really do. It's just expectations, I feel, are such a important thing. Like, you have to have reasonable expectations from gear. Doesn't matter if it's a set of pickups, amplifier, guitar. And when you're the one selling a product or pitching a product to somebody and you've been paid to do so, I feel setting reasonable expectations to the customer, like that's important too. You know? That's just me. That's how I approach things. Am I crazy? Let me know in the comments section. My thoughts on baritones. I have one baritone guitar, and it's going to be featured in a video next week. And I've had that thing for almost a year, and I haven't sold it, nor have I considered selling it. So that should tell you what you need to know. That should tell you what you need to know. Because if I don't like something, it doesn't stick around long. Unless... Unless it's this. I can't sell this guitar. This is an ongoing thing, man. This is an ongoing thing. I mention this every stream. It's been like 2 months. I can't sell this guitar. There is nothing wrong with it. It's discontinued. S2 Custom 24, the Bonnie Pink Cherry Burst. It's got a freaking man-made bridge on it. Not the cheap import bridge. It's set up great. There's no fretwear. I have it listed on Sweetwater's page for $10.50. Not a bite. I can't get rid of it. Somebody buy this guitar. Seriously. Like, well, what is the new before the sale of the 20% off of all PRSs except the DGT SE? We know that you guys are going to buy those at full price. So we're going to leave those at full price. But all the other SEs, 20% off. Before that, how much was a Custom 24 SE? $800 or $850? You do the tax on that. Boom, you're right here. This is an American one with an American-made bridge, and I still can't sell it. It's a bane of my existence. I figure if I start showing it more, maybe somebody will buy it. Let me see. Go home, you're drunk. I'm not even responding to that, Sean. All right. Hey, James, your teeth. There you go. That's funny. I said, hey, James, your teeth, because Graham underneath you started to say something about his teeth. And I jumped the gun. I apologize for that. How's the pup doing, James? Getting big real fast? I'd imagine so. Man, it is a miracle that I am healthy. It is a miracle that I am healthy. Everybody else is so sick. Your teeth are like an abandoned graveyard. They'll never use my smile to sell gear. They wouldn't use mine either to sell gear because I think I just have this inherently sarcastic look on my face at all times. I can't help it, and I don't mean to do it. But that's what I believe. There you go. Take that offer and get some streaks. Stop it. You encourage him, Chad. It's terrible. And what did I tell Rafa? Any of you who watch these streams, you will remember. I said, Rafa, you got your cheap Faisley guitar. You did a refinish on it. Use some B-roll. Make a video talking about it. And people will click it. Now, I don't know what he averages with views. But I know within like 24 hours he had 1,000 views. And that's well above what he normally would get on a video. And he sent me in the Discord. He's just like, you were right. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, this is what people like, dude. People like DIY stuff. People like cheap guitars. And all that. And you did something cool. Why not share it with people? It's always the ones that you might at first tentatively think, like, nobody's going to watch this. Who even knows this brand? Who knows this? Or nobody's going to care. The most viewed video in the history of this YouTube channel was from a brand that if you pulled aside 90% of guitar players, just normal guitar players, and you said, you ever heard of this brand? They'd all look at you like you're crazy. And that was the Jaguar. The Mimose Jaguar. Out of all the videos I've ever made, that's the one that has the most views on it. Because it had an interesting premise, and I meant it. I really did. I really did. Is that guitar on reverb? The red one? No, I took it off reverb. It's just on Sweetwater's Gear Exchange. I don't want to deal with reverb anymore. I'm just being honest with you. I don't feel like they provide me any value. And at least with Sweetwater, they give me options. And on top of that, like I just like Sweetwater. And Sweetwater do like Sweetwater do like I explained earlier what happened with the Jazzmaster and how their solution was, we'll just send you a brand new one. We're going to set it up exactly how you want it. We're going to take care of it. And then how I want the guitar set up, what strings I want on it, how straight do I like the neck, action, what do I want, how am I going to be happy with this thing out of the box? I didn't ask for any of that. That was just straight up offered to me. That's a company, I have no problem with them shaving off 7.5% of a sale. Reverb, what do? I can't even get a human. If I have a problem, I got to wait for a chatbot to contact their human. And then within 3 to 4 days, I might get a human. And you're still taking 7.5%. I'd rather something sell slower and then have that money go to Sweetwater, because at least Sweetwater provide me other services I feel are worthwhile. I like Gear Exchange better. And the other thing I like about Gear Exchange is if you're somebody who wants to buy something and you don't at Sweetwater, like if they have something you really like, what you could do at Gear Exchange is they'll charge you no seller's fees. And depending on what you're selling, like that could be a significant amount of money. Like if you're selling a $3,000 guitar, to not have to give up 7.5% of that's nothing to sneeze at. And then you'll be able to use that money entirely at Sweetwater. How cool is that? Doesn't get much cooler than that to me, man. So at least you have the option. Whereas with Reverb, it is what it is. And if you don't want to do any of that stuff, they'll just pay right to your PayPal anyways. I don't know. It's a change I've wanted to make. I've been scared to make it because I do know Sweetwater has the most eyes on it. Or Reverb has the most eyes on it. Reverb gets the most traffic, yada, yada, yada. But I'm trying to be more conscious of that kind of stuff. Not that I think Reverb's a terrible company. I don't think they're a great company, but I certainly don't think they're demons. They're not demons. What is that crazy political guy say? Internet demonic troll demons. It's something really funny like that. I laugh every time my friend sends me the meme. But no, I don't think they're that bad. But if given the choice, which we are, and I am, between selling the same thing on Reverb or selling the same thing on Sweetwater, I'd rather sell on Sweetwater. Hey, Wade, Blues fan. St. Louis Blues. Man. Do you know what song got stuck in my head the other day? It's one of the greatest sports anthems of all time. It has nothing to do with St. Louis. I apologize. But it's Brass Bonanza. It's the greatest theme ever. It's from the sport of hockey, because I know some of you are in Europe, all over the place. Brass Bonanza was the Hartford Whalers theme song, their fight song. And I freaking love Brass Bonanza. That stuff gets me pumped. And I was not a Whalers fan. I was a Rangers fan. Good stuff. Really good stuff. Some guy commented on one of your videos from 2 years ago saying I should prepare more. So I made a video of me randomly jamming for 14 minutes straight, and your response. You're always gonna get people. I'll tell you, I got a guy pretty good the other day. I got to laugh at this. He picked like the worst video to make this comment on, just because of who ended up using it. It was the video where I demoed the Lindy Fralin stock Jazzmaster pickups versus the Lindy Fralin steel pole P90s. Okay. And what did this guy say exactly? I got to laugh out of it. It was something along the lines of just like, you should at least get a reasonable sound if you're going to use this demo or use this for a demonstration. Hold on. Lindy Fralin. I do not want to misquote this guy. I want to read it exactly. And I'm going to show you something and how I responded. No, what does this video not exist anymore? I have responded. Well, I can technically just... There you go. Comparing Jazzmaster pickups with P90s. Okay. Where are you? Oh, this has a lot of comments on it. You were all just staring at the side of my head. I'm so sorry. It's going to bother me. Oh, where the hell is this? Anyways. Now I've just made a fool of myself. And I'm continuing to make a fool of myself. The point of the story is this. Basically, he said my tone sucked, the demo sucked, the sound quality sucked. Okay? That makes Jim a sad panda. Do you want to know who disagrees with him? Let's load up the screen. Let's see who disagrees with him. Oh, we're at Lindy Freyland's website. Wait a second. That's your buddy Jim here. That's me. That's my video. And there was no deal with Lindy Freyland. There was no nothing on this. I was just demoing this, and the people at Freyland Pickups. Wait a second. You mean to tell me they thought the sound was good enough to use to sell their pickups? But this other random guy on the internet, he knows better than I do, and they have it on both sets of pickups? Isn't that crazy? So I just responded with that. Like, yeah, man, it's so bad that Freyland use it to sell their own pickups. You know, you're internet tough guy. It's not often I'm presented with the situation where I could be that snarky without being like mean about it. But it did make me laugh because I remembered that. Hartford Whalers. Haven't heard that name in a long time. Well, I'm sure none of you would assume I would know who the Hartford Whalers even were. Let me tell you, they were broken in that old Sega game. They were broken. I hated them in that game. You couldn't beat them. They had cheats. It's like all of them had sliders. Sliders are in video games. It's just like when you could basically boost attributes to all hell and high waters. It's completely unfair. That was the Hartford Whalers in that game, NHL 94. I hated that game. Unless I was using the Whalers. Where's my royalties? I don't get any royalties. I don't get royalties. I don't get anything. But they provided me with an opportunity to burn some guy who was snarky for no reason. That's what I don't get. It's like, on the internet, there's no reason to start something like really snarky. Especially on like guitar demo stuff. If somebody comes in to like, or somebody makes a video, right? And they say some like really extreme stuff. Like it's meant to do so. Like to make you angry or whatever. 619? That's back home. That's San Diego. I call you back though. Anyways, my point is, if somebody makes a video, right, and you see this all the time with politics or culture wars or whatever garbage people will do to clickbait, because those people make good money doing it. I'm the idiot here. I'm making fun of them for doing it because they're really hitting the lowest common denominator of intelligence and effort. But yeah, if people come out and they make a video just like with extreme comments that they know are going to make people mad, I understand that the comments section is going to retaliate in a certain way because a lot of this stuff, some of it's like, that's pretty serious. But if you're looking at a guitar demo, or you're looking at, a laptop demo, why you got to come in and be a dick? What are you getting from that? What are you getting from that? I don't know. Just seems weird to me. Gordie Howe designed that game. I'm sure he did. I'm sure Gordie Howe. Did he have Emilio Estevez's help to do it? Man. Because that's about as ridiculous of a statement. Just the thought of those two sitting in a room together. Anyways. You blocked the guy? No, I don't. It takes a lot for me to block somebody on YouTube. Takes a lot for me to block somebody on YouTube. You basically have to say something about either of the women in this house to get blocked on YouTube. Or you have to be like diving into some of that bottom feeder garbage that we were just talking about in regards to politics, which you'd be really surprised that videos that have nothing to do with anything, like another video, perfect example here. I had an older Telecaster video, and it's just me playing a Telecaster. And what pickups was it? Might have been Seymour Duncan's. Yeah, it was La Brea's. I was demoing the La Brea's. That's it. Really easy stuff. And in the comment section, I have this guy typing, Free Palestine. How have you not spoken up? Use your platform. Denounce all of this. Talk about this. And the guy wrote me an essay. And I'm like, brother, you're on a Seymour Duncan Telecaster pickup video. And I don't talk about these things. And first of all, second of all, rather, what the hell does it matter what I think either way? Like, and how is it my responsibility to comment on, like, we live in a weird world. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, Gordy was a god. He could work miracles. He could. See, these puns we could do all day. All day. I like the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar cameo in the second Mighty Ducks. I met that guy in real life. My dad played high school ball with him at Rice High School, New York City. Yeah, Kareem he had a hand that was like bigger than like the Friedman cabinet. I swear to God. I don't know. It doesn't make sense how a human could have a hand that large, like radius-wise. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the nicest guy in the whole world. I'll never forget it. And I always thought my dad was full of crap about knowing him because, I hope he's watching this. Actually, he's not. There's no way he's watching this. But really funny story. When we were a kid, when I was a kid, and I had my two sisters, one's younger than me, one's a little bit older than me, right? My dad got caught faking signatures on a Yankees poster. Now, there's only one person in this chat. Well, maybe James. Maybe he'll make two here. Okay? That would know who this guy even is. And of all the people to fake a signature of, he picked this one. I believe his name was Alvaro Espinoza. And he played shortstop or second base for the New York Yankees in the early 90s. And he faked his signature. And I remember noticing it, like, that's the same handwriting as you. So for a long time, I didn't believe my dad about anything when it came down to it. So years later, he's like, we're going to go to the Basketball Hall of Fame. My friend Kareem's getting inducted. I'm like, yeah, your friend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Dad. Okay. And he walked up to him, and there was people all around him. It was after the ceremony. And he goes, Jim, how are you? To my dad. And I'm like, holy God. And he's like, oh, it's Kareem. He says, how you been? He's like, this is my son, Jimmy. And I looked up. I was like looking up at freaking Mount Fuji. Guy's a giant. I'm not tall to begin with, but I was also a small child. I'll never forget that. Shook my hand. Nicest guy in the whole world. Talked to him for a little bit. Got a signed ball. Took a few pictures, and that was the end of that. Well, that was the other thing about it, James. I think the reason why he picked Espinoza was because nobody would ever suspect that you would fake a signature for a crappy baseball player. My dad did. I would love to have a conversation with him. I've never confronted him about this since I became an adult. Why? Why would you do that, and why would you pick him? And I wasn't even a Yankee fan. They were trying to make me a Yankee fan. Nowadays, everyone's confused about all sorts of things in life. When I was growing up in New York, the only thing that they tried to groom you with, sounds terrible, was to be a Yankee fan. Especially in my household. You had to be a Yankee fan. And I was the only one that said no. I don't like winning. I don't like joy. I don't like having friends. I choose the Mets. That was pretty much sums up my life. We'll get off the sports talk. I apologize. It's not every day, though, that I could segue into odd stories and be reminded of stuff like that. I really love doing this. This is fun. And that's how I know that, like, even if I just started making videos about nothing, some of you guys would come back. Some of you would still watch. I can make videos about cooking. I know some of you would show up. And that's cool to me. It's like I know some of you guys and we're just hanging out. We're friends. It's not all talking shop all the time. It gets boring after a while. It really does. It's boring after a while. Okay. Now, my friends. Anyone but the Yankees. Yeah, anyone but the Yankees, man. And the other funny thing about that is if there's anybody who should be a Yankee fan, it's me. I should be a Yankee fan. I really should. My uncle managed the Double-A Yankees and the Triple-A Yankees. But in Albany, the Albany Colony Yankees, then he managed them in Ohio. When I went to the summer league, where you train with the minor league players, I was a shortstop. Do you know who I worked with before they went to the big leagues? I worked with Derek Jeter. Literally every day. I practiced with Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter used to bust my balls. Because my dad told my uncle that I was a drummer. And somehow that got back to Derek Jeter. And Derek Jeter would always say, why don't you stick to drums? Because you're not very good at this. He had a hilarious sense of humor. And I always liked that guy. I knew Andy Fox, Andy Pettit, all those guys, just from being a kid. Like, I'm not friends with these guys. I'm not name dropping in that way. It was just the circumstance of how I grew up. They were nobodies. They were minor league baseball players who then ended up being like legendary Yankees. And I'm still not a Yankee fan. Meanwhile, some guy in Los Angeles who's never been in New York in his entire life will claim to be the biggest Yankee fan in the entire world. Actual New Yorker here. Knew some of the players, and I couldn't care less about the team. All right, guys. Let me see real quick. Choose your destiny. Now, I think when I say, sorry, I'm looking for something real quick. I don't want my phone. Oh, I'm looking for my phone. It's right next to me. I'm putting out a poll real quick. I'm going to run to the bathroom. I'm going to stay on a little bit longer today because I have time. I don't have to go pick up my kid from school. She's already home. And my wife's hanging out. Choose your destiny. Vote in the poll. Which one would you rather see? All right? And we'll see what one we can make happen first. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Let's see how we're doing here. I asked you guys in a quick poll before I went. Choose your destiny. What would you rather see a comparison of? Jazzmaster in the Mustang or the Strat in the Mustang? Right now we have the Jazzmaster versus Mustang out in front. But it's close. We got 11 votes. If you haven't voted, please, 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 let me know your opinion. And if you're watching the restream of this and you made it this far, thank you. And you can't vote, I apologize. You can always leave me a comment. Or just type in the letter A, G, T. T's a good letter. And just hit enter. Because the way this stupid website works is the more people that comment on videos, the more they'll recommend it because of viewer engagement. You have the best video in the world, or you could have the best video in the whole world with hundreds of thousands of views on it. And if nobody comments or hits the like button, it's only going to go so far, which kind of sounds strange. Because it's like you just said it has hundreds of thousands of views, but that's the difference between a video with that many and potentially millions. That stuff matters to YouTube. Okay, I missed some stuff here. You like a Met fan who rejected the Yankees. That's how I am, man. I don't mean to be so contrarian. It's just in my blood. I can't help it. And if somebody tells me I have to do something, I don't take to that well. That's the young punk rock skateboarder in me. I never like that. You tell me I have to think a certain way. You tell me I have to like a certain thing or support a certain thing. The odds of me embracing that are very low at that point. They're very low. I don't like being told what to do. Even at nearly 40 years old. Screw that. You're Pacific Northwest fans. Blazers, Cougars, Mariners. You know. Who the hell are the Cougars? Because I'm not thinking of the same thing that I think you're thinking of. I know that there's the Sounders. And in Portland, there's the Timbers. You mentioned the Blazers. That's weird. The Blazers and the Mariners. So you're either in Portland or Seattle. Could be either if you watch football, real football. But Cougars, I don't know who that is. Respect for resisting the evil empire. Yeah, I did. The first World Series I can remember is 86, and I absolutely love that team. I love Mookie Wilson, man. I love Mookie. There's so many great players on that team. Ron Darling, let me tell you, that guy is a god. Not only was Ron Darling very underrated pitcher, he is part of the greatest trio of baseball commentators that we have to this day. Gary, Keith, and Ron. Even when the Mets suck, I don't watch many games anymore just because of life, being a dad, and doing this. I can't be watching a Met game for 2.5 hours and I make YouTube videos. I don't have time for that. They're the best. But yeah, 86 was special, man. Even watching that back, and I was really little for that. So I don't have like vivid memories, but I do remember my one uncle was a huge fan. Luckily, he doesn't wear a lav. Yeah, exactly. That'd be really funny if I was. The Helix just got another update. Cool. Oh, there's my dad. He missed. I think he missed all the good stuff. Dad, if you heard the good stuff, could you type out an explanation for the viewers? All right. Why on God's green earth? Why on God's green earth? This is hilarious. Did you forge Alvaro Espinosa's autograph on a poster when I was a kid? Why would you do that? Why him? What's wrong with you? You know, what's wrong with you? Why would you do that? Oh, man. I'll check out the Helix. I'll check out the Helix stuff maybe later tonight. I don't mess around. I don't mess around too much with the digital stuff. I see an update, and then like 2 months later, I'll download the update. Because I'm not taking it off my pedal board. It's happy where it is. It's very good. You loved it when the Marlins beat the Yankees? I did not love that. Let me tell you why. I did not love that because I've always hated Josh Beckett. Josh Beckett has been the kind of baseball player I've never liked him. I never liked him. But even more than him that I really disliked was Kurt Schilling. And Curt Schilling has gone on to become somebody outside of baseball that I somehow managed to dislike even more. It's just a gross. Not a fan. But I don't know. Like I don't cheer when the Yankees lose because the rest of my family are Yankee fans, but I'm not a Yankee fan. You know what I mean? It's like a weird in between. It's like a weird in between with me. I don't hate them. I don't hate them. But not a fan. You should buy the Spark, or for Jim buying and demoing one. If any of you guys want to let me borrow your Spark, I'll do a demo of it. I'm not paying for one of those things. Yankees had 4 or 5 players or so that each had annual earnings more than that entire team. Well, that's Miami's thing, and that's another reason I don't like the Marlins. I live 90 minutes away from the Marlins. Their ownership has always sucked. They've always been greedy. They've always leached off the taxpayers to pay things. Whenever they have a good team, they break the team up to make money off of it. They don't actually build so that they could become consistent competitors. And players like Evan Longoria wasted the majority of his career there. For what? To play for that terrible franchise? And I feel bad for the people in Miami that follow them. Because you can't count on them. It was a lot like the Mets were for a long time. You're never going to get that investment back into the team, even if you had a really, really solid core of players. Like when we had Reyes and Wright, before Wright was hurt every other freaking day of his life, you can't control that. We had a really good team, man. They just didn't want to spend any money. They didn't want to spend any money. And then you sell everything off and you start back at ground zero again. It sucks. It sucks. Oh, no, don't say you'll watch later. I asked you a direct question. Why did you forge Alvaro Espinosa's signature on a poster for your children when we were kids? Why did you do that? Oh, man. The Yankees bailed him out taking on Stanton's contract. Yeah, he's terrible. Yankees are... For all the money the Yankees spend, they sure don't know how to spend it. But they're not as bad as some of the other people in baseball. From what little I follow it now, like the Dodgers, they're a joke. They've been a joke for a while though. They keep trying to buy a World Series, not going to happen. 1972, you bought your first electric. Everyone said Strat. You got a Mustang instead. Well, at the time, you should have bought the Strat. Because if you still had the Strat, it'd be worth a hell of a lot more than the 72 Mustang. You don't remember why you did it, but you remember doing it. You remember forging the signature, but you don't know why you did it. This is funny. This is funny. This is happening in real time. Well, this week we chat because it's not always about guitar. That's what I was saying earlier. I'm telling you, I'm gonna open a food truck. You guys want to invest in it? I'm gonna open a food truck. I'm going to sell my chicken and rice. I swear to God, it genuinely is delicious. I'm not even saying that to pat my own back. I cannot cook every dish in the menu. The chicken and rice I make with the seasoning that I prep for it, I make by hand every time. Out of this world good. I could do it. If I made a channel focused on that, you guys would come and watch. I know you would. You just got a Princess 65 reissue. Perfect with the telly and the Fralins. Awesome. 65 reissues are nice, man. I like those better than the 68s. I love a Princeton reverb. And Dad, now listen to me, Dad. Listen. Now that the whole world knows what you've done with this forgery, I would really... There's only one way you can make this up to me. I'm about to be 40 years old, Dad, and you have all these people. They're telling me to buy this, buy this. I don't got money for this shit. I got money for this, okay? I'll take a Gibson R9, okay? I know that doesn't mean anything to you. The chat will know what I'm talking about. You can solve... You know what? If you do that, I will buy a Yankee jersey and wear it every day for... How long am I going to commit to that? Do it for the first 2 weeks of the season. And in every video, I'll wear a Yankee jersey. You do that, you know what? If somebody can source me an Alvaro Espinoza baseball jersey from the early 90s, I know eBay's got to make something. But he was so freaking bad that I doubt that you could even get one. But the nice thing about the Yankees, if you buy an actual Yankee jersey, none of them had names on the back. All I need to do is find out what number he wore. I can't stand. That's the other thing I hate about Yankee fans. You bunch of idiots. Bunch of idiots. I took my dad for Father's Day, not last year, the year before, to go see Tampa versus the Yankees, okay? As to be expected, 80% of the crowd are Yankee fans. Now, of those 80% that are Yankee fans, I want to say 75% or more had Yankee jerseys that had the freaking names on the back. You know how stupid you look to somebody who grew up in New York? You know how stupid you look? The Yankees never have the names on the back of the jerseys. What are you doing? Just drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. I can't stand that about Yankee fans. They have this superiority complex with everything. You haven't won since when? When's the last time the Yankees won the World Series? You schmucks. And then you get your Stanton jersey and it says Stanton on the back. Or Andy Pettitte. Steroids. It is the middle of November. And here I am ranting and raving about the Yankee fans. I hope he's laughing. He's had a rough go of it lately. And we're just busting balls. Oh man. The Mustang went swimming and was never right again. It was trashed. Oh man. Sorry to hear that. You have the Spark 40. Tried it good. It didn't use the app to boost it. Get EQ. I'm having a hard time switching from what we were initially talking about. I'm having a really hard time to the Yankees and their stupid fans, and back to this. God, they're such stupid fans. God, it's just so stupid. Same thing in San Diego. The Padres, when the Yankees would come in to play the Padres, my dad would come, and he would plan his trips so that the Yankees would be there. You can't just come to San Diego to come visit your son, see how he's doing, make sure he's not on the streets like the rest of them, homeless. You got to come when the Yankees are in town. All right? And even there, everybody had the names on the back of the jerseys. I used to love sports. My dad is the MVP of life, not just the stream. He's the best. He really is. Anyways, congrats on the Princeton. You have the Sweetwater exclusive with the 12. It's a little bit beefier. You get a little bit more warmth out of that before it starts breaking up too. Good stuff. Princetons are great. I've lost so many viewers from talking about this, but I don't really care. Let me check the poll. I'm cracking myself up. All right, the Jazzmaster versus the Mustang is the guys you guys want. Is the video you guys want. Jazzmaster and Mustang. All right, 15 votes in. We have 11 viewers. I'm going to go out on a limb and say in the next 5 minutes we're not going to do more than that. So here's what's going to happen. Let me get off here. I'm not going to say anything about baseball. But thank you all. I hope that this was entertaining to you guys. Sometimes it is fun to go off on tangents. Maybe I'll make a clip if I can figure out how to do that. I am stupid. For somebody who does YouTube, I'm stupid. I should be making clips of things. I got to be uploading more YouTube shorts. I got to do these other little engagement things. I can't be bothered. It's the reason I'm stuck where I am. And I don't have 50,000 subscribers. That and the fact that I'm just not very good. Always got to find a scapegoat. But I digress. I got to try and get some work done so that I can get a video for you guys tomorrow. I have another video with something else that is not a full-on demo, but you might find it helpful. And it's one of those things where we take something on the bench, we're gonna fix it up, do a little bit of modifications. One that was not planned whatsoever, but we ended up doing it on a semi-affordable guitar from an older line of Fender Mexico. So we got another one of those in. Good stuff. Good stuff indeed. I'd like to thank you all again for hanging out. And I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully you'll see me. I can't interact back with you, but you'll see me on your TVs or your monitors tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, if there's a video. Thank you. Take care. Love you. Adios. Let's go, Mets.